Chapter 1. A regular morning, or so they thought. It was just another Tuesday morning when Madeline Rivers stepped through the glass doors of Pinebrook National Bank, dressed in a loose-fitting gray hoodie, sneakers, and a pair of faded jeans. The air conditioning inside was brisk, a sharp contrast to the warmth of the late spring sun outside. She walked with a quiet confidence, not because she expected red carpets, but because this was her bank, a branch she'd chosen herself when she expanded her financial empire. Still, she kept her presence subtle. No entourafe, no flashy ULD, no announcement of her title. Just a quick stop to make a large but routine cash withdrawal. The branch, located in the heart of Fairview Heights, was bustling with customers. People filled out deposit slips, stood in line, or sat patiently with the faint hum of printers and distant conversations around them. No one noticed her. At least, not until she reached the teller counter. "Next in line, please," a young voice called out. Madeline stepped forward, greeted by a clean-shaven man in his mid-20s. His name tag read Connor. She handed him her driver's license and quietly requested a withdrawal of $15,000 from her business account. Connor's demeanor shifted. His eyes narrowed. He glanced at the ID, then at her, then back again. I'm sorry, this account. Are you sure this is yours?" Madeline raised an eyebrow, but kept her voice level. "Yes, I'm sure." Connor pursed his lips and tapped a few keys. "This is a high-value account. I need to verify with my manager before we can proceed." "Of course," she said, still composed. Connor disappeared briefly and returned with a man in his early 50s, wearing a navy suit and a tie just a bit too loud for his conservative surroundings. The name tag read Mr. Delaney, branch manager. He didn't bother greeting her. "Ma'am," he said curtly, "for transactions of this size, we typically need the account holder to be present." "I'm the account holder," she replied, calmly but firmly. "Mr. Delaney tilted his head, gave her a once-over, then scoffed. "I'm afraid that's not possible. You'll need to come back with someone who has authority on this account." Silence settled over the space. A few nearby customers glanced over. One lady whispered to her husband. Madeline could feel their eyes crawling over her clothes, her skin, her posture. They saw someone who didn't look the part. Not their image of a CEO. Not someone they'd assume had a 7-figure portfolio. But she didn't argue. Not yet. Instead, she reached into her pocket and pulled out her phone. With a few swift taps, she made a call. "Hello, it's me," she said in a voice that turned heads, not from volume, but from authority. "I need you at the Pinebrook branch immediately." Then she hung up. Connor and Mr. Delaney exchanged smug looks as if they'd won. As if they'd taught her a lesson. Madeline watched them for a moment. The arrogance, the smallness of it all, and still she said nothing. Not yet. Chapter 2. A familiar storm. 10 minutes passed. During that time, Madeline stood quietly to the side of the lobby, watching. Not speaking, just observing. She counted the number of customers being helped, how long each interaction took, and the subtle looks the staff gave her, quick, judgmental glances that told her everything she needed to know. One woman behind her whispered, "Maybe she's trying to scam the bank or something." A man chuckled. "You think she has $15,000 in that hoodie?" Madeline had heard worse. But today wasn't just about the insult. It was about the system. She thought about the young entrepreneur she mentored last year, denied a business loan 3 times before Madeline personally co-signed and opened doors that should have been opened by merit. She thought about her own mother, once turned away from opening a savings account because the manager didn't believe she had a stable job, despite being a nurse for over 2 decades. Her life was filled with those stories. But today would be different. Today, the lesson would be loud and public. Chapter 3. The doors open. The lobby's glass doors swung open with a sharp whoosh as 2 sharply dressed men entered, one with a tablet in hand, the other holding a manila folder. Their stride was confident, their demeanor unmistakably corporate. Connor's smirk faded instantly. Mr. Delaney stood up straighter, sensing the shift in atmosphere. Both men walked directly to Madeline. "Ms. Rivers," one of them said, offering a respectful nod. "We've brought the documents you requested." Madeline took the folder, opened it, and briefly skimmed the contents. Then, she turned toward the staff. "Let me formally introduce myself," she said loud enough for everyone in the lobby to hear. "My name is Madeline Rivers. I'm the CEO of Rivers Capital Group, parent company of Eastwood Financial Holdings, which owns this bank and all its branches across the state." A heavy silence fell. Mr. Delaney's face went pale. Connor took a step back. "I came in today unannounced, not as a test, but as a customer," Madeline continued. "And I was profiled, dismissed, accused of being someone I'm not, denied access to my own funds in a branch that operates under my leadership." Gasps echoed across the marble floor. A woman near the entrance dropped her pen. One of the customers whispered, "That's the woman from the Forbes article last month." Madeline turned to Mr. Delaney. "You just denied service to your employer, and you did it in front of witnesses." Chapter 4. Consequences are served. Mr. Delaney stammered, "Ms. Rivers, I wasn't aware. If I had known." Madeline raised a hand. "That's the problem. You treated me based on your assumptions, not your knowledge. You saw what I was wearing and decided I didn't belong." She turned to her financial officers. "Effective immediately, Mr. Delaney is relieved of his duties. Connor, please place your badge on the desk and report to HR for evaluation." Connor froze. I didn't mean any harm." Madeline looked him in the eye. "Intent does not excuse outcome. Ignorance is not immunity." The bank's head of security, having been called ahead of time by Madeline's team, entered quietly and approached Mr. Delaney. "This is a misunderstanding," Delaney begged. "It won't happen again." "No, Madeleine replied. It has happened. To others. Today, it just happened to someone who had the power to respond. How many people have you dismissed without second thought?" Security escorted the former manager through the lobby. The eyes that once judged Madeline now followed him, shocked, silenced.